it got to the point where at first I'm thinking, you know what, yeah, if I get a load of guys working for me, I make a load of money, I'll be able to buy a nice Range Rover and that. My missus can, you know, get a Porsche, we can chill out, we can do this. And, you know, you think that's what you want to do with your life when you're younger. The media makes it look like that, social media does. And I think I got sucked into that part a bit, but I think reality is I'm a simple man, me. Do you know what I mean? I'm a simple man. I like having a nice truck. I like having nice tools and going nice places with my missus and that. But that's all I really want. I don't really care what anyone else thinks.
Good evening, Trial Talk, and welcome to today's live stream with myself, Stu Roberts, founder of Trial Talk, and soon to bring on this evening's guest, Joel Cooke. Now, I want to give Joel a little bit of a big up, a bit of an intro, because obviously anyone that's been on Trial Talk over the last 2 years, you're going to know who Joel is. Everybody knows who Joel is. Me and Marcus have just been down to Halifax where we did a bit of cork sole training. They all knew Joel down there. Seems wherever you go, everyone knows who Joel Cooke is. But if you're new to the game or you're new to Trial Talk, you might not know who he is. Joel Cooke's a plasterer based in Leeds. He runs his plastering business there, Rendervate, and he's also got his YouTube channel of the same name, guys, Rendervate. So it's going to be a really, really good guest to have on this evening. Now, I've named this podcast Rising, Falling and Bouncing Back. And in a nutshell, that's pretty much what Joel did. So from a very, very young age, he started off like we all did. You come out of your time and you went working for yourself. But he actually grew his first business, Cooke Plastering. He grew it. It blew up, basically. And he ended up pricing up work, tendering in the region of £1.4 million, guys. That's how big Joel's first business got to. So it's going to be an interesting guest to have on and talk about why growing your business like that and blowing it up the way you did isn't always a positive thing. And he's going to talk about some of the pitfalls and some of the dangers in doing so. So some of the topics we're going to touch on are his early days in plastering, how he grew his business. We're going to talk about some of the challenges and some of the prejudices that he might have faced growing up, and then how he changed lanes. So he switched things up and decided to focus on the spray rendering. So we'll talk about that, and also his coaching that he had, which has clearly helped him in his business life. Some of the pros and cons of self-employment. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about his YouTube channel, and we'll ask Joel what his favorite game changer is as well. Could be a new plastering tool or new material, and then his future plans. And we'll try to squeeze in some of the questions that you guys might have as well for Joel at the end. So bear with us, and we'll get answering any questions that you've got. But without further ado, guys, let's bring on the man himself, the big dog, Mr. Joel Cooke. Joel,
yeah,
good evening, buddy. How are you, pal?
I'm good. You're all right. That was a nice introduction, that, mate.
Sweet, mate. Now I'll touch there on some of the stuff you've been up to from a very young age. Your first business, Cooke Plastering, how you were able to grow it the way you did, tendering for jobs up to 1.4 million quid. Now, to the average spread, your average bread and butter sole trader spread, them numbers just blow your head. You think, hang on a minute, he started off like me, come out of his time plastering, and then he's blew this business up. How did he do it? So everyone's keen to know how you did it. But before you sort of tell us about that journey, why plastering? Like, what made you think to yourself, I'm going to become a spread? Was your any of your family members a spread or not?
Nah, nothing. No one in my family is even a tradesperson. No one.
Oh, okay.
No one at all. So it was just one of them things. I'll tell you the truth. I had a mate who I went to school with and I grew up with him, and it was just one of them. Just a young guy. I didn't have a clue what I wanted to do. Obviously, didn't make it as a professional footballer. So I was just left with like, what should I do here? So I asked one of my mates. I said, what are you doing at college and that? And he went, oh, I'm doing plastering. I thought, plastering, what's that? And I didn't even know what it was.
Nah.
And then I figured it out, and they showed me some bits and that. And anyway, I didn't do anything with it for a couple of years. And I went down south for a bit, and then literally, I just thought, you know what, I'm gonna, get into plastering. I'm gonna do that. And then there were a course, luckily enough, near where I lived in Essex, and I went there and I did. It was basically a 2-week course, mate. That's what it was.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Did you take to it like a duck to water? Like as soon as you picked the Hawk and Trowel up, was it like, yeah, this is what I'm going to do, or was it a struggle, or did it come natural to you?
Do you know what, mate? Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I'm pretty handy. I can do a lot of things, yeah. But I'll be honest, the first time I started it, I thought, flipping heck, this is hard work. This
was it all over the floor?
Oh, mate, it was in my face. It was dropping on my head, on my shoulder, and my eye. It was just like, oh my God, mate. But literally, I started. I reckon by the end of the second week, I could put on a ceiling, a small ceiling, and trowel it up, and that. Okay, do you know what I mean? But yeah, that was it, mate. That's how I initially got into it. A course called Gold Trowel, it was called.
I've heard of them. Yeah, they London, isn't it?
Yeah. In Essex, mate. Yeah, in Essex.
Yeah, I've heard good things about Gold Trowel. So how did you go from like someone that hasn't got a clue about plastering, can barely get it off the Hawk, to then growing a business that's tendering for jobs in the region of 1.4 million quid? How did you? What did that journey look like? Did it start off with just you and a labourer, and then it built from there, or was it you just jumped in and took loads of lads on? And how did you manage to do it?
All right, cool. So before all of that, I actually worked for someone in Leeds called John Rodriguez, and I blagged my first job with him. I blagged it like I rang around everyone in Leeds telling them, yeah, I'm a plasterer, can I come work with you? And they all said no. And then what happened with this guy? Well, my sister, my niece, actually went to school with his brother's son. And anyhow, she got into him and said, yeah, he's a plastering brother. And your brother got a firm and all this lot. Anyway, got his number for me, and I just didn't stop pestering him because he actually was the only person who said, yeah, I'll get you a go in a couple of weeks. And I thought, yes, I'm on here. And blagged it, said, yeah, I can do it. Yeah, I can do it. I got to a job. First day I was there, it was absolutely shambolic. I had to do a bathroom. And I pulled out tools out that were brand new and all that.
Brand new boots as well, like.
Yeah, brand new everything. Yeah, I'm pulling it all out, everything. Man. The bathroom were like a tiny bathroom, and I'm pulling ligger board out and everything like that. And he just was like looking at me like that, and I thought, is he sussed me out? Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, he come back at the end of the day and that, and he just looked at me. And I'd done like one wall bonded, and the floor was paggered. It was bad, mate. He just looked at me, and I thought, oh no, he's gonna carry on. And he just started laughing, and I went, what are you laughing at? And he went, mate. He goes, I rate you for having balls for like coming here.
Yeah.
He just said, look, I'll tell you what, yeah, you've got a van, because I had a van. I had my own van. I had all the tools. I invested basically all the money I had into getting a van and tools. And $5,000 it was in total what I'd spent. And he's gone like that. He's gone, you've got everything. He goes, listen, I'll give you a chance as like you can come and do some labouring and work with guys. And he just like, to me, I was just like, yeah. And he went, I haven't even told you how much I'm going to pay. And I went, just, yeah, I'll do it. And he went like, he went 50 quid a day. I went, mate, deal.
Because you're just hungry for the experience.
Mate, I knew that I wanted to do it, but I didn't quite know until I got into it properly. When I got into it, like working with guys, and I could see what they were doing, like skimming rooms and ceilings and that, and I just thought, yeah, this is me, this, and that's how I started. I worked for him for 7 years in total.
Was there one like gentleman in particular that took you under their wing and taught you proper, or did you just learn off all these different spreads that this lad had?
Yeah, all the different ones. So when I first started, it were mainly me and a couple of other, me and probably 5 guys he had working for him, yeah? But,
right.
So it was just mainly them. And then after that, his company grew and he got bigger. He had like 16, 17 guys at one time. So I was like working with all different ones, doing all different types of jobs. So I was blessed. I tried everything. I got to do everything. So, you know what I mean? And I did learn quite quick. You know what I mean? So it was good.
So this guy that you were working for, did he sort of like inspire you to think he's built this team of 17 up or whatever it is, I'm going to do the same thing? Is that how you got the idea to do it?
Nah, not really, because to tell you the truth, it was like when I looked at his business, like him as a person, right, and how he was, he's great. Do you know what I mean? His dad, called Pepe, old Spanish man, couldn't speak a word of English. So all he did was just, like, you could hear swear words. All he said, that's the only part I could understand. But I loved them. You know what I mean? I was grateful for what they'd done for me. His business wasn't something that I would have wanted to do because it was all council work, and he want the best. You know what I mean? So, but I think for me, learning, like, that was possibly the worst part of plastering you could probably get, working in them type of houses.
Yeah, I agree.
So the only way
I've done it. It's horrible work.
Yeah, the only way is up for me. So it will.
I'm not knocking any lads that make a good living off house bashing for the council. You know what I mean? But for me personally, I had one too many jobs where I just thought, this ain't for me, man.
Yeah, it wasn't for me, mate. And to tell you the truth, I got to a point with working with him where, like, I'd learned all the basics to a T. I could do that. I'm no problem. I started to get my own work on a weekend and an evening. And I just started looking more out there and thinking, look at that house there. That's a nice house. Like, I want to be plastering that. Do you know what I mean? Like, what are these block of flats going up here? What are they going in there, plasterers? I didn't even know that they, like, work like that. And I look and I'm like, bloody hell, I want to be doing that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it went from there. That's how I got it in my head. Like, I wanted to do them nice big houses and fancy rooms, and not just repairing rubbish old toilet bathrooms and all that. You know what I mean? So
how did you make that transition then from, like, when you first went self-employed and you started Cooke plastering?
Yeah.
How were you able to target some of these bigger jobs? Did you just use, like, the internet, or was it something else you did?
Do you know what, man? I think we could talk about how I did that, right? For, like, you could make like a 4-week series of videos about it.
We'll do another one next month.
That's what I'm saying. It's hard. It'll be hard for me to get it in, but I'll tell you in the basics of what it was. So
yeah,
how it was for me, right? I just knew that I wanted to work on nice houses and do good jobs and getting at the beginning of properties and projects. Like, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to do the better work, let's just say. That's what I wanted to do. And to figure it out, I literally went on the internet all the time, mate. Like, Google stuff. I went on YouTube. I've watched so many videos on YouTube just on marketing. Just all these different influencers, like entrepreneurs and stuff like that. And I just found, like, the type of work that I wanted to do, there was a certain way that I had to be, and where I had to put myself and stuff like that. And that's what I did, mate. I just started literally going onto LinkedIn. I made a LinkedIn account. When I went on there first, I think out of all the plastering companies about, I was the only one who were really putting on videos and actually putting up posts with explanations on it and talking. And I was smashing it on LinkedIn. Honestly, I've got books upstairs, right, notepads upstairs with, like, the top 30 companies in Yorkshire written down. And I wrote letters to every single one of them. I phoned every single one of them in order that I wanted to work with, and planted all the seeds I needed to plant. Local builders, rang them up, asked them if they had any work. No, we've got a plasterer already. Well, let me send you my information anyway, just in case they let you down one time. And that's literally what I did. I just targeted every single one. And the best ones I targeted all come back to me. And that's how I started getting my work.
And when they came back to you and said, all right, Joe, we've got like 4 houses or something, and then you're just you and maybe a couple of lads, did you then think, okay, what I'll do is I'll outsource some of the work and I'll bring in lads that way? Or did you try and keep it in-house as you were growing?
Yeah, so at the beginning, right, I wish, right, that I would have kept the first 5 guys who I had working with me, like, because at the beginning of Cooke plastering, I was so precious and so I was so precious and so finicky and tactile with everything that I did. The guys that first come, I was working with them and I was next to them all the time and everything were right. And I just think with a bit of nurturing from me, if I knew how to be a better leader at that time, I think that would have been perfect. Like I would have not needed anything more. But yeah, it was like we're getting them jobs in and we were doing them. We were turning them out nice. And I'll be honest with you, that was the most profitable time of Cooke plastering.
When you just had the 5 lads.
Yeah, that's when I was making the most
money. I hear that a lot, you know, as well.
Yeah.
And I see it a lot on the group, where it seems to be like a bit of a sweet spot, doesn't it? So 4 or 5 lads, keeping them closely managed and keeping them happy as well.
Yeah, but, that's what I wish I'd have done,
Yeah, so as the business did start to grow and you're taking on bigger jobs, you got more lads working for you, was it giving you back in life what you thought it would? Like, what were some of the benefits? Because obviously you speak on your videos about some of the negative side of it, but was there a benefit to having a big business like that?
Yeah, do you know what, right? I think it was such a learning curve. Like, I don't regret it to this day. I'm not happy with how it ended. I'm not happy with what it turned into, the monster that it was. But I learned so much from it. Like, I mean, anyone who's watching this will be thinking, what's he on about? How can he say this, right? But getting that amount of work to me is easy. Like, that is easy. Like, I've got no problem with that. I could go again tomorrow and start a plastering company, and I could quite easily build it up to being, a 6-figure company. I could do that because to me, that's the natural, easy thing to do. Is, it's marketing, it's networking, it's putting myself in it. That's natural. That's something that I spent a lot of time working on. So I could do that. But where it comes to the management part of it, the people part of it, for me, that was took away from me when I went bigger. It was, I wasn't dealing with people, which I am a people person. I was dealing with numbers, figures on a spreadsheet, But the positive is I learned so much. So like when people get these tenders through and stuff like that, don't get me wrong, the first drawing I got through and the first tender I got through, I looked at it and I was like, what's this?
Yeah.
I was looking at this. There's actually a photo of me and Danny Allas, and we're sat in my kitchen, in this kitchen in the house I'm in now. Me and Danny Allas are sat here with all these massive drawings on the table. My missus took the photograph of us, right? And we're sat here, and literally we're both there with highlighters and rulers trying to measure out these rooms. Like, that was one of the first big quotes I did.
I remember I watched one of your vids and you talk about how you were sat in a room with a load of QSs and architects and that, and you said you were all suited and booted and you felt like a duck out of water because you just thought, I'm a plasterer, I don't want to be here, I want to be on the tools, I want to be hacking off render and spreading, and it's not what I want to do. And was it at that moment when you thought, you know what, this ain't for me, and is that when it sort of took a turn for the worse?
No, do you know what? It were like sitting in there with them guys, the QSs and that. They don't talk the same language as me. Like, they're not passionate about plastering or building houses or people living in them. They're not bothered about that. They're only bothered about the numbers.
Yeah.
You don't get me wrong, numbers are nice. They're nice to have, but also you've got to look at how we're going to do it and how it's going to work. And I just feel like for me,
I suppose you got to look at why are you doing it.
Really, that's it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, for me, it's like it got to the point where at first I'm thinking, you know what? Yeah, if I get a lot of guys working for me, I make a lot of money, I'll be able to buy a nice Range Rover and that. My missus can, get a Porsche. We can chill out. We can do this, and you think that's what you want to do with your life. When you're younger, the media makes it look like that. Social media does. And I think I got sucked into that part a bit, but I think reality is I'm a simple man, me. Do you know what I mean? I'm a simple man. I like having a nice truck. I like having nice tools and going nice places with my missus and that. But that's all I really want. I don't really care what anyone else thinks, or I don't want to go to golf course with my mates in our Ferraris and that and play golf like with you know, and drink champagne. It ain't me. You know what I mean?
I'm the same way. I'm the same way, mate. And if that's what floats your boat, fair play. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm the same way, mate. I've never been one for like the materialism and I mean, I'm one. I like ambition. I'm an ambitious lad, but in terms of like the big house and the big car, and you know, it's because I know in my heart, you get the house, you know, you get the 4-bed house, and after a year, you think, you know, the shine wears off, and you think, now I want a 5-bed house. Yeah. Now I want a 6-bed house, and you do it with a car as well. You might get a new car. Yeah. Think it's all grand. You're feeling like you're James Bond, and then, you know, some time goes by, and you think, there's someone that likes to have a better car. I want that car. Yeah. And it's like, where'd you draw the line? Where, you know, you've got to sort of find happiness within yourself, haven't you? So I know exactly what you're saying, man.
Yeah.
So you've grown this massive business, your monster, you call it. You've grown this big business. You've got all these lads on the books. At what point did you pull the plug, or did it come crashing down? And then how was you able to, when it did come crashing down, how was you able to bounce back the way you did with Rendovate and sort of rebrand, start your YouTube channel, and start passing down this wisdom to other plasterers? Like, what was that? How did that come about?
Yeah, okay. So what happened was the business actually it doubled year on year in size and turnover and all that. Well, not size, but turnover wise. And I didn't even know, but one day my accountant, she was sat in the office because it got to a point where my accountant was coming in and doing a full day a week, working there just to do the books and stuff like that. And I had a couple of people in office, a couple of lasses in office as well, doing admin. And literally, it was like she come in and she went, do you know, like every year for the last 4 years, you've doubled. And I was like, no, I've never even stopped. I didn't even stop to even look and notice it. And she went, every year you've doubled for the last 4 years in turnover.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, it doubled every time. So I remember it like it was yesterday, like 45, 90, 180, and then it was like 400, and then we were on target for 1 million, and it was like I didn't even know. Do you know what I mean? No. I didn't even know because I hadn't. It was moving so quick, and everything was just, you know, spiraling for me because I had people who worked for me. I didn't even know them. I never even met them. Do you know what I mean? I turned up to jobs and people like who were working for me were like, "Who's that?" And like the guys like, "Oh, that's a gaffer." And they were like, "Oh, you boss? Sorry, mate." Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's how it got. It was like, so yeah, I really didn't like it. And obviously finances, I got bumped by a few companies in quick succession. 18 grand on my first hit. Then I got like a 10 grand hit, and then after that it was just like every other month I just managed to get smashed over 50k in total, and it was literally like it was just getting to a point where lads were getting paid late. I wasn't getting paid. I had to go into overdrafts to pay lads, to pay stuff, and it just literally got to a point where I had a 5-6 grand wage bill every week, which were like a struggle to get. Do you know what I mean?
Mate, I can't imagine it. I mean, I've had 2 lads on, and they've been on the books with, you know, on salary with pensions, and I've had some weekends where I've not slept. I've been living off beans on toast, and just to make sure they've got their wages in, and I know how that feels, but I can't imagine finding that sort of money every week. That'd just blow my head.
Mate, we're a killer, man. Honestly, we're like, yeah. And the thing is, you're ringing them up and that, and companies owe you like 10 grand, and they're not paying 10 grand because one wall ain't plastered and stuff. It's like, come on.
It's crazy because we're always harping on Trial Talk. I am about how, you know, if you're a plasterer, a sole trader with a labourer or a small team, set your own payment terms and make sure your client, you know, gives you the green light on your payment terms. But of course, if you're in that line of work, what you were in, big construction companies, big developers, you got no chance of saying, "Look, mate, I want paid every week," because they'll just be like, "No, we'll choose someone else."
No, wait, mate, honestly. So I'll tell you what it is. I actually did do that, though. That's the thing. So we're going to start talking about the training and stuff and coaching I got. And that was one of the things that I actually got taught, like sort it out. And I won't lie to you, I'll be totally honest with you. I set up payment terms with companies that were like 14 days. Some of them were 7 days. Some of them were invoiced on Monday, get paid on Friday. But this is one thing I always go back to. You can set your payment terms, right, in your contract and all that. It doesn't matter if they still don't want to do it. It's like, what can you do?
It's only a piece of paper at the end of the day.
Exactly. You can't do anything about it. So that's why I did a video about relationships, because I feel like my relationship with construction companies is non-existent. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't matter. But with Mrs. Smith down the street, who I'm doing her house with, we've got a good relationship. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I can set what terms I want. But I think with commercial work, you know, I had it in writing in contracts, 14-day payments. And you know, I even had job sheets signed off by site managers that were saying like, yeah, they've done extra this is extra, that is extra. And the QS has done that. Well, I didn't say it's okay, so I'm not paying it. It's like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
So I don't think terms and conditions and contracts are any worth the paper they're written on, mate. I'll be honest with you.
No, I know what you're saying. Now, if there's like young lads watching this, or maybe plasterers that have been in it a while, they're hungry, they're ambitious, they want a piece of the pie, like you did and like I did. What would you say to them? Like if they said, Joel, how did you do it? Like you grew this big business, I want to grow a big business. Like what are some of the pitfalls you'd tell them to be careful of? Would you guide them to do that, or would you say, look, mate, build a small team of 5? That's where the profit lies, and don't go beyond that. Like what would your advice be to them?
First of all, I think you've got to ask yourself a couple of questions, and it's like, how much do you want to earn? Do you know what I mean? Like, so obviously people going about, you know, I want to have this, I want to have that lifestyle, I want to have this car and that, yeah. I think you've always got to start in reverse. So you've got to look at your lifestyle, I think, and then you've got to look back and go, right, how much money do I need to earn to have that lifestyle that I want? So this is something I do. Do you know what I mean? I do this now, and I write everything down, break it all up. This is what I want. And then you just divide it into what you actually see you're going to have to earn to have this lifestyle. That's what I would say. So if you literally just say, look, I want to have a nice Range Rover and I want to have a nice house, mortgage is going to be this, car's going to be that, go on a couple of holidays, mate, you don't need 30 staff to get that. You don't need it. So why would you put yourself through that stress? You don't need it. Do you know what I mean?
I think there's a misconception that like, there's only 2 ways to earn money, and that's by either having loads of lads or working yourself to death. But I always say, look, what about specializing? You know what I mean? Like you need to specialize and niche down into these little pockets in the trade where people will pay above average money for you to do a specialist job. That's what I would always say.
That's one of the ways, definitely, mate, 100%. I think that's I would say to you, ask yourself why you want to be like that. Why do you want to have a big company? And a lot of it comes down to is what's the word? Is vanity. Vanity. It's keeping up with the Joneses. That's what mine was. Yeah. You know, and that's
is that to do with like because we've spoke before about you know, your years growing up. Was it like, were people shocked to see a young lad such as yourself flying and doing well, turning over all this money? Were like your family and your friends and your circle around you in your personal life, were people quite shocked to see you doing that, or did they always expect you that you do that?
I reckon it was mixed. It was a mixed bag. I think a lot of people were proud of me because where I'm from and what I used to be like when I was younger, and obviously, you know, I've got brothers and stuff who were like that. Do you know what I mean? And they've got the wrong way and stuff. So I think for a lot of people who are older around the area and Leeds who see me on Facebook, they're all buzzing. Do you know what I mean? They're like, "Oh, great, well done, Joel. You avoided the pits and you've got made some of your life and stuff like that." So that's good.
Yeah.
A lot of my mates, a lot of them are dead, a lot of them in prison.
Mate.
Yeah, loads of them, mate. Like, it's unbelievable. And there's only a few of us who are still about, really.
It's a shame to hear that. The reason I brought that up, Joel, is because I remember one of your videos that you did a while back now. You're talking about your younger years growing up and whatnot, you know, being a man of colour, and you touched on how it wasn't expected that you would do as well as what you did. Now, obviously we know racism's still out there. There's no getting away from it, and it's still a problem. But I wanted to ask you, have you experienced any of that crap? Have you had any grief from anyone being on site, growing your business?
Yeah.
So when you're in the offices or when you're on site, has it ever been an issue for you or not?
Do you know what, right? I've seen racism on site, and I've had racism towards me on site. I've had like one guy who worked at John Rodriguez said a stupid thing one time because John were like, "Oh, you're gonna go work with so and so today," and I was like, "All right, cool." He went, "I'm gonna make you work, boy," and I went, "All right, cool." Like, yeah, and but he said, "I'm gonna make you work like a," and he dropped an M-bomb in the office. Yeah, and he dropped the M-bomb, and I went, really? Has he just said that? And obviously everyone went quiet.
Yeah.
I was livid. I walked outside and I'm thinking, I want to go back in and smash his head in. But like, then I'm just doing what everyone would, expect me to do. And anyway, John just come and said like, look, Joel, this is what it is. If you wanted me to get rid of him right now on the spot, he's done. He said, but honestly, it's up to you. He said, he's from a different era and he wasn't trying to make an excuse for him. I know what he was trying to do. And I said, yeah, I totally get it. I said, he's from a different era where that kind of comment and banter was accepted. I get that. But he don't really know me like that. And, obviously I don't like it, but I don't want the man to lose his job. I said, just give him a chat, mate, whatever. And he went back, he went, Joel, are you sure? He said, because he can go now if you want. I said, mate, honestly, just have a word with him if you can, please. And then, like I say, that was it. And he went in, talked to the guy, and that was last I heard of it. He was sweet as after that. But yeah, that was one of them. And I've had the odd one where, like, if you were me talk now, I'm broad Yorkshire,
Yeah.
If you couldn't see my face, you wouldn't know what colour I was.
True, yeah.
I'm just a strong Yorkshire accent. And there was one guy who, when I worked at a company, he'd be like, "Yo, Joel, man, what's happening, man? You're right, brother." And I just remember saying to him, just going, "At you, mate, do I talk like that?" And I said, "Do I talk like that?" And he went, and I said, "Exactly, mate." I said, "Talk to him like that again and I'll slap you." And that's it.
Yeah.
And that's all I said to him.
It's just making that snap judgment, isn't it? But, it's based on appearance.
Yeah. I don't talk like that. I'm from an area that's mixed culture, and we say mush and gadge. You know what I mean? It's like that's
I wanted to ask you about that because I've never heard mush. Because
have you not?
every time you message us, hey up mush, how we doing mush? And I'm like, mush, is that like a friendly thing or like what's that all about? Because like I'm West Midlands and I've never heard about it, but we chatted mush. we chatted yesterday, didn't we? We chatted yesterday about your accent, and you were saying about how like the affluent jobs that you're targeting now, where it might be £1 million house, for example. People are shocked sometimes to see you rock up, and you talk about how you've had to tweak your accent a little bit and your body language and how you communicate it, and to do with your sales process and how you come across. Could you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so I think I learned a lot of this from Craig, Craig Wilkinson.
Oh, yeah.
I did coaching with him. So basically he touches on a really good subject, I believe, on one of the sessions that we have is about marketing and stuff like that, and how you are as a, there's certain things, right, that like we can do as humans, as salespeople, as when you're meeting anybody, that you can change subtly, that it changes the way people are with you. And it sounds like I'm talking about witchcraft, but it's just, as soon as Craig started talking about this and we were getting into it and he gave us some stuff to research, that was me. Like when I get something, I'm hooked. That's me. So I watched videos on it, on body language, my tone, my eye, how I look. Obviously the obvious things, I've got tattoos and that. And one of the things, right, I wear tops so people can't see them, and it's not because I'm ashamed of them. It's because I don't want you to have any reason to judge me in any ill way before you even hear me. And that is it. So I just literally used to wear a long sleeve top, make sure my hair's cut nice. I've got no facial hair. I know you've got a beard, not against them, but I'm just saying, like, you've got to understand with me.
I've got to make up for what's not up top. You know what I mean? I've got to have some options, man.
Yeah. The thing is, for me, it's like, how I already look and quite a big lad, and my voice is a little bit common, let's say, I could come across as being a bit intimidating. So last thing I need is my tattoos and you know, tight top on where I'm like that walking down drive. I don't need it. So just minor things like that. I just tweaked it to that. And obviously how I talk to him, I don't call him mush and gadge. I just talk really polite.
And do you find by making these changes in your body language and the way you speak a little bit, do you find that you can build a rapport with people that they're not the same age as you, they're not the same background as you, but you can build a rapport and build the trust by making these little changes, just to so you don't, like you say, come across as intimidating or anything like that? Does it help you sell jobs?
Yeah, 100%. Also, I've got to say this to you, right? Like, obviously, where I'm from and that, and how we grew up around here, it's a bit wrecky, I'll be honest with you. But the reality is, the way my mum raised me, she raised me to have empathy, to always talk to people and be confident when I talk to people, be polite to people, have manners. So these are things that I already had in me already. But I just adjusted a few minor things, and 100%, I believe that has helped me grow, like my character, how I talk to people has helped me win work massively. Yeah.
Brilliant. You mentioned your mum there, Joel, and I know you're all right with this because we spoke earlier. Rich Welfare talks about how that when his mum passed away, bless her, he used that pain and he sort of converted it into fuel, if you like, and he went full throttle into his personal development and his business ventures. You talk about on your videos that you sort of did the same thing. Is that right?
Yeah. When you talked to Rich about it, I just thought that was wicked, because it was like you were telling my story, mate. Like, I was listening to you both and I was like, bloody hell, like, that is so familiar. And it was that. It was it's a why to start with, because you want to make them proud. You want to make them proud. But I think, you know, with conversations with my sisters and stuff like that after a few years, and once I had Cooke Plastering going, and you know, when it stopped and stuff, and you feel a bit of a failure in that. My sisters were like, Joel, you're not a failure. You know, your brother's in prison. The other brother's, you know, been in prison in and out of his life. Your mates have, you know, a few of them are locked up for 30 odd years. A few of them are dead. A few of them are thinking, you're not a failure. Mum's proud of you. And
no chance, yeah.
I
mean, most spreads wouldn't even have the balls to do what you've done, Joel. You know what I mean? I mean, to get to that level. I'm speaking for myself here. You know, when I got to 3 lads, I said that's enough. You know, I'm not going beyond that. And that, some people might say, oh, that's like self-limiting, but the way I seen in the distance, I just thought, if I carry on growing. Yeah. Because I had a young family at the time, I knew how much hours that this business was pulling away from my personal life.
Yeah.
And I thought, if I carry on this path of growth, I'm end up going to be like 12 hours a day, 14 hours a day, and the weekends. Because, and that comes back to probably get us nicely into the next one, actually. Comes back to the systems and the coaching that you said Craig was helping you with. Yeah. I didn't have any of that. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing when I started my business. I was doing everything myself. Yeah. I was working 14 hours a day. And I just kept thinking, I'm the one that has to do the most hard work, and, you know, all the admin, the sales, being on the tools, and then, you know, the accounts and the bookkeeping and everything else. But how did coaching help you, and what made you decide to get involved with Craig?
Do you know what? Yeah, I think I'll be honest with you, right? I didn't finish the course. I didn't do the last two, might have been 3, 2 thingies, but I think mentally and stuff like that, would Cooke Plastering were coming to an end, and obviously financially and mentally and stuff like that. But Craig, right? I'm gonna take my hat off to this guy. Yeah, this guy is like, he's a great guy. Like, he just is a great guy. He's clued up. He's smart. He's been there. He's done it. I could relate to him very well as being a normal northern lad. I just really got on with him. Do you know what I mean? I respect him and everything he did. I think his course is good. I think it'll teach you a lot of things if you are looking to grow. and you know, you want to systemize your business and stuff like that. But I think it's one of them where I would recommend it to most people to get a business coach or a mentor, because it's mad out here, mate. You don't realize, you know, how hard it is, but it's difficult. Yeah. It's difficult, man. It's so difficult, and you need that little bit of guidance. You know what I mean? And I think at first you think, bloody hell, it costs how much to do a course and this and that, but it's worth probably double that.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Rich was saying now he compares it to, like, if you wanted to become physically strong and fit and, you know, toned or whatever, you'd get a personal trainer. And he uses that example of, you know, in business, it's the same thing. If you want to get results and you need coaching, I was ignorant to it for years and years, and I've only recently signed up with the EBA. But I'll be honest with you, I've hardly scratched the surface on what they do and what's on offer, because I've just been flat out, like, with work and family life. But I do plan to get proper stuck into it. But so did you know, joining the EBA, they help you add systems into your business and things like that as well?
Yeah, so how it works, right, is that you go through, like, every month you do a different part of the coaching program, and one of them is systems and systemizing your business. And do you know what? It's one of them, man. You can look at it in so many different ways. You know, I think a lot of business owners like us who are self-employed wear so many hats, and I think it just opens your eyes up. It depends how far you want to go, to how much you systemize it. You know, I feel like for me, it's more of my customers and my client base is more of a personal touch. You know.
Do you use any CRM systems at all? Because I remember you talking about ServiceMate.
Yeah, that's me. Use ServiceMate. Yeah.
ServiceMate, because I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I don't know any plasterers that are using ServiceMate. A few people have spoke about it. Do you rate it? Is it decent?
Do you know what? For me, it's bang on, as in the fact of, I know there's another one called Tradify and something else out there. But I mean, do you know what? So I ain't got nothing really to compare to. ServiceMate is just one that I started on, and it's one I know, and it's one that I get along with. It's great. It's got a great desktop app that I use on my MacBook. I've got the app on my phone, and yeah, it's good, man. It's just great, and I'll tell you, for instance, why it's great as well. This is one of the class things about it. Happened last week. So I did a job last year, and I did it for a customer in York, and it were a big old mansion, rendered it, and they were determined that I top coated it in the winter. And I said, guys, it's not going to take if I do it in the winter. It'll discolor, it'll do this, it'll do that. Because where the house was, it was in the middle of nowhere. And anyway, they were determined that I did it. So anyway, I've got the log of that WhatsApp talk, email thread, pictures, everything, all on my CRM system, all logged. And it's like, it was so easy to do. Take a picture, download it, put it onto the CRM, and it's there. So then I got a call last week from my manufacturers saying that basically this company had said that there was something wrong with the render, blah, 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 trying to pin it, obviously.
Yeah.
And I was gone, all right, cool, mate, go. I'll send you over my information. Boom, send it over. No problem, Joe. Went to the job, come back, sorted. So my full interaction with every customer is saved on my CRM system.
It's all been recorded, everything,
mate. So you can't say that I said this or I said that.
Yeah, that's brilliant. That I've been trying a system called Your Trade Base, which is similar to ServiceMate, but it's like a simplified version. And I'm getting on great with that. I'll do like a little full video on it, but
enjoy it.
It does. Yeah, it's brilliant. It does everything what you've just said, where a lead will come in, and from that lead coming in, everything just sort of splinters out, but it's all in one place. So you just put the customer's name in, and everything, like you said, interactions come up, pictures of the job, text messages, their address, their email. And because I spent years looking for customers' information like that, I'd scribbled down on the back of a bloody sandwich packet and stuff like that. And because this has been a game changer for me, but I'll do more stuff on it. Now, Rendervate, what was the idea behind that, and how was like the birth of Rendervate. So you've had this big, huge business, and then you've changed lanes and you've decided, right, I'm going to start up as Rendervate, and you start looking into the spray rendering. Talk about that. How did you get involved with the spray rendering?
So I bought my first machine from P1. It was an M200 I got from them. And that was my first machine. I got that when I was actually at Cooke Plastering, because we started doing a bit of rendering. So, yeah. I did a massive job in Leeds, a recycling centre, and it was an absolute nightmare because I didn't know how to work machine. And it was a 30 grand job, and I don't think I made a penny on it. That's how bad it went.
Oh dear. Did you have the right training with the machine, or did you feel the training wasn't there, or?
Do you know what? It's one of them. I think I can't. You can't. I think with machines, right? It's a tricky one because you could easily enough say, yeah, we don't get the right training, this and that, and I don't think a morning's training on a machine is adequate. I don't.
No.
But it's like how much is adequate?
How much you need? Yeah.
How much is adequate? You have got to, with everything we've done in this trade, we've got to trial and error.
True, yeah.
Yeah, I think retro-wise, like for me, I might even do a bit of machine training. I might start offering a little bit of it to people who buy a machine. Not basically just setting them up, but how to spray as well, because it's hard.
Yeah.
Marcus
Barron asked me a question earlier, and I promised I'd ask you. He wanted to know, how did you market to do spray render if you'd only ever done sort of like your gypsum internal and maybe a bit of sand and cement? How did you find switching things up and changing lanes where you thought, right, I'm going to focus on machine spray render? Was it a difficult transition to make?
No, it's not, mate. I mean, like I say, I think marketing is one of the funniest things I like to do in business. Yeah, I love it. Like that to me is like, it's a challenge, as in like, I want to grow something. Let me see how big I can get it. And like, for me, it was a challenge. So it was fun. It was fun. The switch over wasn't hard. I'll be honest. I say this all the time on my videos and that to people. I say, listen, video content, putting posts out there, and not just putting a video out of the machine, you talking, me explaining. Like, do you know how many people, right? I've got a video on my YouTube channel, and it basically, all it is me explaining what monocouche is and what thin coat is. That's what it is.
Yeah.
I get so many customers referencing that video.
That's good.
So
video marketing's helped you. I mean, Rich was saying exactly the same thing. Video marketing's got to be the way forward, hasn't it?
I think that is the number one thing that has helped everyone identify me with rendering. I'm a plasterer, I'm a plasterer from the beginning. I love plastering. I don't moan about it quite a lot, but the reality is I love it, mate. But I think when it comes to the rendering, to show people that I am a renderer, I had to do videos, I had to do posts out there, and yeah, that's all I did. So for me, it wasn't an hard switch over, mate. It's been quite seamless, and I get a lot of rendering work. So yeah,
that's brilliant, because you're pretty much self-taught renderer, aren't you? I know you picked up a lot of knowledge, like book knowledge and stuff, but you spoke earlier about how you were able to transfer your floating skills that you learnt, like hard wall browning, bonding and things like that, internal, and you just transition those floating skills onto an external surface. Would you, because there's a lot of lads on the group where they can skim, no problem, but then give them some plastering sand and they're just like, nah, I'm not getting involved. Was it hard to sort of pick that up, moving from internal floating to then teaching yourself rendering? How long did that take? Was it difficult, or?
Yeah, do you know what it was? It was kind of hard, because I think there's so many different aspects and different things that you need to learn with render. It reacts different to the internal stuff. I think the only way to get better at that is to understand the products and why they're doing what they do and stuff like that. And I think I educate myself with people like EcoRend and Baumit. I ask them questions like, I'll ring a rep if I'm using a new material. I'll ring the rep up and I'll say, right, mate, what does it go on best as? How thick does it need to be going on? What am I looking at picking up times on it? What would you think is better, the diamond float or the sponge? What are people saying about it? And these are the questions that I ask them, and they'll be like, you know, they answer it for me and tell me what it is. Try this, Joel, try that, boom, boom. And before you know it, you know, you've got it working to how you like it, and that's it. I think it's just learning the products, what goes into them. Why is it so sticky? Why is it like this? Do you know what I mean? And, you know, there's different ways to apply different renders, and that's all it is. You're just talking to the people who make it and know.
Yeah. Because I would say start off on sand and cement on a garden wall or something, you know, at your own house. Do you know what I mean? And then build up from there, just baby steps. That's how I did it, because I'm self-taught as well.
It's hard. So I think sand and cement. I think you guys, like, you know, like Mark Neeson, right? I look at his sand and cement work and that. And
brilliant, isn't it? Yeah.
This guy, man.
He puts my render into shame. I have to make sure when I'm taking my pictures, I make sure I've got the right wall. You know what I mean?
Yeah, this guy's sand and cement work is different level, mate.
It's bang on, isn't it? It's bang on. And the solid corners as well and stuff. You know, I wouldn't get involved. I'd stick a bead on all day long. I would. You know?
Yeah. Them guys who do that, right? Honestly, sand and cement, and you yourself, you do sand and cement, right?
Yeah.
That's so much harder to do than OCRs and, you know, bagged material. It's so much harder, I believe.
Yeah. I mean, just getting the mix right's a challenge sometimes as well, isn't it?
Exactly.
Right. We'll move on to self-employment. I spoke briefly earlier to yourself. What would you say some of the pros and cons are to self-employment? If we've got some members watching that are thinking of going to work for themselves, the pros and cons of self-employment, Joel.
Right. The pros of being self-employed for me are my own boss. I can set my own schedule. I can set my own rate of pay. I can, you know, when I go on holiday, I want to go on holiday. If I have a day off, I can have a day off. Basically, that is really it. That are the pros.
Freedom.
Freedom of setting your own rate. Being free. Being free with it, really. You know, it's your platform to when you're self-employed and you by yourself. It's your platform to create what you want to create. You can make it what you want.
Absolutely, you can have it as It's flexibility as well, isn't it? You can have it as small, or like you can blow it up, and you're in charge of that, I suppose, aren't you?
Yeah, you are. That's the thing, and you'll enjoy it as long as you are in charge of it. Do you know what I mean? That is it. Once you start losing control, you need to reel it back in and think about, you know, why you're doing it, what you're doing. But I think for anyone who wants to be self-employed, it's your picture, man. You can paint it how you want. Just educate yourself. Just make sure that you're getting educated, because I believe that's one of the things I wish I'd have done earlier. I wish I talked to people who were better than me, people who were the experts, people who were... they want no one doing what you do, Stuart. Like, they want no one doing what you do, the content you put out and the videos. I would have loved to have had something like what you're doing. Like, I would have
loved it as well. That's why it was born, Joel. Because I felt the same. I thought, where's the guidance, man? Where's the information, the right information, not just any information, but the right information from professional plasterers that know what they're doing. Like, there's no guidance. There's just taking and banter, you know.
Yeah, and that's why I think you know, I would recommend anybody. You know, I always plug Trial Talk. I always say go on there, because Stuart and the rest of the guys who run it, they'll let dickheads on there. And the reality is, you'll always have, you know, help with difficult questions and stuff like that. If you're struggling, you'll get your advice there with no shit, really. And that's something I wish I had when I was younger. So yeah, I think, listen, learn as much as you can, and you know that's a pro. You'll be blessed with that. So cons.
Fantastic. No, appreciate that as well, mate. Yeah, go on. Cons. Self-employment cons.
Tax.
What's that?
Hey, honest to God, the tax man's an absolute tool.
Oh, mate.
Yeah, hate them.
Just when you think you're in profit, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, when you think you're nice, and then you look at your tax thing comes through, and it's like, no, mate.
Yeah.
I held it a day later and I stick you £100 fine, and it's like, what? Come on.
I'll tell you what I find most hardest. See if you can relate with this. Most hardest thing for me about being self-employed and running my own jobs, is merging jobs. So because everything's a guessing game, isn't it? Like you'll quote a job, you'll think that will take me 8 days, that one. And then Mrs. Smith thinks, she's like, when can you start? You're like, all right, I'll start on this, 2nd of September or whatever. And you're like, you're on your job and you're thinking, when's the 2nd of September? And you look at your calendar and you're like, Monday. Fucking hell. I've got 6 days left on this one. You know what I mean? That's what I find the most difficult is merging jobs and trying to honour that start date. Do you find that hard?
Bro, mate, one of the hardest things ever, mate. I honestly, and right now, obviously, the 2 guys who I had with me before I left, right? So it's just me trying to finish off these jobs that I've actually got on. And it's like, I'm giving dates, right? And I'm forgetting that it's just me.
Yeah. I was going to ask you about this because like you used to working with your man, Damo.
Yeah.
And you, like I said about Matt, when there's 2 plasterers, you bounce off each. I don't know how much experience your mate had, but you bounce off each other when you're laying on, and even the cleaning up and loading the van. And then what I've found is the same thing. Going back to myself, I have got a labourer that I pull in now and again.
Yeah.
But going back to just myself, it's getting back that head game back in. Where you're cleaning up, you're loading up, you're doing everything, man, everything. And there's no one to bounce off. And it does. You don't realise how much longer that your jobs take, do you?
Yeah, it's meant to take longer, isn't it? I think when it comes to the applying and stuff like that, it's longer. But you know what, Stuart? I love it, me. Like, I'm really like, I've still got some stuff I need to iron out as far as business goes. I'm not a perfect business at all. I've still got problems and issues that I need to sort out in it. But
I'll tell you what, Joel, none of us are perfect, man.
No. I know I never will be perfect, but I really dead set being serious with you. I'm enjoying it, man. I'm enjoying it. Yeah. I don't mind sweeping up, mate. That's second nature to me. I used to rip houses off for fun when I started working with John.
Yeah.
Skipping a morning, mate. That's nothing to me. This stuff I'm doing now, it's so much easier. And I think that's where rendering and being a grafter and stuff like that, these kind of things are minors to me, mate.
Yeah. I've seen you, like, you love your big boy toys and you're getting your truck out and getting your drills out and showing everyone on the YouTube, like, this is what I do, with my trowels and my drills and my truck. And it is like you said, it's like when you're little playing with the Lego and that, isn't it? It's you get to do it as an adult sort of. I'm the same way. Like I can't imagine having a job where I was sort of sat behind a desk on a computer or something like that. I'll be bored off my head, honestly. Yeah. I have to be doing something with my hands, So I'm the same way. Now, YouTube, Joel, what made you decide to start the YouTube channel? Was it because you seen other lads doing it and you thought, yeah, I'll be good at that, I can talk, I can present myself? Or was there another reason you started it? Or
I didn't really see many people doing the content that I wanted to do out there, to be honest with you. I know the only person I used to see on YouTube that was a plasterer was Blaine from
Blaine Gray.
Blaine Gray, yeah. He's a good lad, he's a good bloke, but he does coaching for plasterers and stuff like that, and he does some really good topics. I like his stuff.
It's brilliant, yeah. He's got some fantastic videos, yeah. Top man.
Does some good stuff. He's a good lad as well. So I think he was the only person, but I'll be honest with you, I watched a guy called R&R Buildings. Have you seen it?
It doesn't ring a bell, that one. Is he a spread?
Nah, he makes buildings in America like they've got barnadomiums or barnacondiums, whatever they're called, big gas barns and outbuildings.
Oh, okay.
And so I used to watch him from R&R Buildings, and his videos are just cool. Like, he'd show you how he does his footings and brings it out. I just like watching all the American stuff, really. Like, the guys who do do you know what I mean? Like, not even my trade. Like, there's a guy I follow who's got a lawn cutting service.
Oh, yeah.
I just thought, but it gets me hooked. Like,
yeah.
I'm watching it and I'm like, I don't even care about cutting grass. I don't even have no grass. I'm looking, I'm like, this is sick. Like, but his business, his marketing, how he talks, how he does his videos, all that kind of stuff got me into it. And to tell you the truth, I just want to create good content for plasterers, renderers, and anyone else who's interested in our trade. That is it. Like, I want them to see it. Yeah.
And if people want to get involved in your channel and go and check it out, what do they search? Is it just Rendovate? Yeah.
Yeah, if you type in Joel Cooke or Rendovate in, like on screen here, it comes up.
Yeah.
I did this the other day. I typed it in and all my videos and everything come up. So yeah, Joel Cooke or Rendovate will come up. All the YouTube stuff comes up. That's the channel.
Fantastic. What I'll do at the end, I'll put that into the comment section on our little chat, because I'm saving all these interview chats in file, not in files. There's a part of the Facebook group where I can save them. I think it's called guides. So I'll put it all there, but I'll make sure I backlink your channel for you, mate. Now, what time are we on now? Well, just creeping over an hour, and I'm conscious I don't want to take too much more of your time up, mate. Now, I wanted to ask you this: what's your game changer? What's your game changer? It could be a material or a tool that's come out on the market.
Game changer. I've actually written down a couple of things that people might not really care about, but I'll say them.
Go on, then.
Get away! My cat's on the table. Sorry, move. Right, okay. A material that I've started using a lot recently. From EcoRend X32. Now, I use it for thin coat. You can use it as a base coat for monocouche or anything like that. But I've just found it's absolutely beautiful to work with. And it's just, yeah, it's a game changer for me as a base coat. It's got body. You can put it on quite thick. It hangs around a little bit, especially if you're working with yourself and a labourer. You need that extra bit of time. I find that it rolls up lovely. Takes the mesh and it sponges up great with a power float. So as far as materials go, I think you should give it a go if you're doing rendering.
What's your future plans? That's what I wanted to ask you. Future plans for Joel? Mate,
you know what? They change all the time. My plans change all the time, but I can tell you, if I'm going to be honest and say the one that's going to have longevity and one that I really want to do is literally I'm just going to be me, Joel Cooke Rendovate, in my badass truck when I get it all kitted up. I get a new trailer. I'm going to get badass trailer signed up. I'm just going to go around doing nice rendering jobs, renovation, plastering. So I like to do houses from the beginning. Someone buys an house and they want it gutting and replastering up. I'll deal with it with the homeowner and do that part of it. So I like doing that, taking it from bricks to actually a layout.
Yeah.
Bricks. So that's what I love to do. That takes me back to my beginning days in plastering. So that's the only plastering I'm really interested in. Going around, doing machines, rendering jobs, and I want to build the YouTube channel because I'd like to make that something. You know, I'd like to make that into something long term. Really, I'd like to. Yeah, maybe.
Well, it is, mate. You're doing well. What is it? 2,000 subs nearly.
Nearly, mate, nearly. Yeah. Trying to get there, yeah. But again, I haven't been consistent and I've got a lot of content that I haven't even edited and stuff like that. So it's just finding that time and that balance. But for me...
It's a slow mover, I've noticed. YouTube's slow.
Yeah.
It seems to be a slow mover, but... You're on... what other platforms are you on? You're on... is it TikTok as well?
I just started that TikTok and it took off, mate. Yeah, it took off.
Yeah, because someone said every time I mention Joel Cooke, they always say TikTok. They always go back to TikTok. Oh, I've seen him on TikTok. Yeah. So that might be. I mean, I've not even looked at it, but
it's just quick.
How do you find it?
It's quick format, mate. Like I think.
Yeah.
I think TikTok's. It's just quick format, but there's no. For me, I see my online videos and that being more longer into series, you know what I mean, like full and stuff. But I think as far as, you know, getting your name out there and building your brand up a bit more, I reckon TikTok's the one. It's quick format. You can do it on your mobile phone and it's super easy to edit and it's got music on there and it's just easy, mate. I grew literally, I'm nearly at 5,000 followers on it and I haven't even been on it long. Like,
that's insane. That's a lot.
Yeah. I've got one video on 440,000 views or something. Do you know what I mean? So it's like,
can you not like sort of sway them to join the YouTube, or do you think it's a totally different markets? Different pages, or
I reckon it could work. You know,
yeah.
I think if the same people who go on TikTok go on YouTube and they see my face pop up, they'll probably go look at it then. Do you know? What I mean?
Yeah, defo.
So I see that's how I'm pushing it towards that way. Yeah, but it's good. It's good. It's good.
Awesome. Now, earlier today, Joel, I put a post up And the idea of this post was so we could sort of do a little bit of a Q&A, and it just asked the question, do you think that you should stay as a 2 or 3 man team in your plastering business or grow it big? And that was the question. And I just wanted to get your viewpoint on some of the answers from members, if that's okay, just before we wrap up. I'll just pick a few random comments, if that's all right. So we've got, let's have a look here. I've got Ainsley Smith. He says that the bigger the business, the less in touch with the customer and the bottom line the gaffer is. What do you think to that? Is that a fair statement, would you say? The bigger the business, the less in touch with the customer the gaffer is?
Yeah, definitely, yeah. 100%, because that's what happened to me.
Would it?
Yeah, that's what happened to me. I would, honestly, I've had people say to me, oh, you plastered my house, and I'm like, I can't remember you. You know, honestly, I never met you. It's like,
yeah, I've never grown that big to experience that, but that's an interesting one. Mick Hargreaves, stay small, less headaches, less stress. You've got more control of your business, less chance of people ruining your business reputation. He says that's just my opinion, each to their own. I'd say that's pretty bang on statement.
Yeah, is it on Ed, mate? Is it on Ed? You can't fault what he's just said there. Everything he said is accurate to the team, mate. Yeah.
We've got Raymond Hindle. Are you, Raymond? He says, I'd love to get bigger. Nothing worth having in life is easy. There is such thing as good stress. Keeps you hungry, it keeps you alert, keeps you wanting more. I haven't been going long, but I've done some amazing jobs, big and small. And some of them definitely out of my comfort zone. But I got there in the end. Fake it till you make it. To be fair, that's a good attitude. It's a good attitude. Yeah. But like you're on the other side of it, where you've done it, and you've got the t-shirt sort of thing. So, but that reminds me of me and probably yourself about 15 years ago.
Yeah, that's very optimistic, and you know what? Don't lose that. You should always have your optimism, mate. I rate you for dreaming big, and it's great. And by no means am I saying because of my journey that it's not possible. Anyone can do it. You can do it. But you know, my advice to you is to educate yourself, get a coach, get a mentor, learn it, and you have got to have a good threshold of taking stress and stuff like that. I get that. I have got a good threshold of it, but don't mean I'm going to go do it again. Do you know what I mean? So
good advice. It's good advice. Yeah. Chris Davidson, he says, depends what you want. I was big a few years ago. It was difficult finding plasterers that were good and consistent. The best ones either worked for themselves or were just unreliable. The money was okay, but it wasn't enough for the hassle that you got. A bit like what you said when you had loads of lads. You earned more just having 5 lads, I suppose.
Yeah, a lot
and
more.
He says, personally, I've never seen many big plastering firms succeed for more than a few years. They are out there, but they're very rare. I think it's better to specialise than it is to expand. I've got to say, I agree with that last statement there. It's better to specialise 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, you could go out, for example, you could go and get 10 lads and earn a little bit off each lad. And by the time you paid their wages and everything else involved, you could look at your profit and you probably get that same profit margin specialising in a really niche down area of plastering, you know, insulation, for example, or something that's really niche. You could probably earn the same amount of profit. What would you say, Joel?
100%, mate. Like for me, I would always look at, so I work backwards, like I told you earlier on in video. I like to work backwards. So, you know, you look at a salary that you'd like to earn for a lifestyle and then work it back. So I know how much money I should make off of a 3-bed semi-house to render. I know how much money I'll make off of a, 200 meters worth of render. So I can target how many of them I want per year to earn the salary that I want to earn. That's it.
Because what you're doing, it is pretty specialist at the minute, isn't it? Compared to like your typical bread and butter spread. And I think a lot of lads on the group are sort of looking to people like yourself, people like Rich Welfare that have, got the machines and they're sort of paving the way for us lot, really. Because I think it's the future. It's got to be the future, hasn't it? So I've done a lot of training last week with the spray stuff. And I'm just thinking to myself, this is the way it's going. This is the way it's going.
You know,
Sorry, go on.
I've got a thingy. I want to say something on that because I think although right, this is crazy. I did a video. I haven't even put it out yet. It's crazy, but I know what you're saying, right? And I agree with you. It's the future. It's something new, right? So check this out. If you don't know about spray rendering, or you don't know about spray plastering, or you don't know about Venetian, it's something new and it intrigued you. And you think, yes, you know, that's I want a bit of that. I want a bit. I'm missing out here. I want a bit of that. That's what you think, right? Now, honestly, I just happen to know that I liked rendering from early days, and it just means my machine is only an accessory to something I enjoy to do. Do you know? So
yeah, true.
That's what I'm saying. It's like a lot of people to see me with a machine and think, yo, look how much he's doing. He must be earning a fortune. I want to do that. Like, listen, you can make a fortune doing any aspect of plastering. I could be a plasterer and just do domestic bedrooms day in, day out, but I could be charging £300 a day.
That's the difference, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's the difference.
That's how you market yourself, how you push yourself. Like plasterers who are getting 150, 160 a day, but then the reality is you can build your reputation and your brand and your name. So I'm getting £300 a day. And it's like
absolutely, and that's where I'm always going with Trial Talk. And when guys are messaging me saying, you know, I can only earn this much a week, and I'm saying, well, how much are you earning a day? And they don't even ask themselves a question half the time. But going back to this, I'll just add a few more in, Joel, and then we'll wrap up, mate. I wanted to mention Rich again because he talks about machines, about how they cut out labour. Which is an interesting one. He says, I managed to keep it small by using machines to cut out labour and to take back control, low outgoings and high profits. Do you find this the same thing as well? Like, let's say if you're bashing out a bedroom, like you said, you're re-skimming a bedroom. Yeah. If you were to compare that against like a spray render finish, a specialist spray render finish, are you able to charge a lot more money for the render?
Yeah, the rendering is a lot more than plastering, in as well as materials and, you know, the outlay and stuff like that. So it's obviously going to be a more expensive service.
Yeah.
But I still think when it comes to labour and actually earning your wages, I think everyone can maximise, you know, what they do. So I think even a traditional plasterer who just skims normal walls can maximise that by doing certain things. The machines do, you know, Rich's profession, what he does with the spray, definitely alleviates the labourer, doesn't it?
Oh, 100%. That's the first thing I found when I went down there, because I went down for the little session with him. Is I thought I was chatting to Ewan, and we put a fair few meters on, and he said it's just so easy, isn't it? And I says, to be fair, like none of us are sweating yet, and you know, and you look around, and you think if that was multi now, you'd be crouching and stretching and crouching, and you know, and it'd be hard. You know what I mean? So I can see the benefits of it, as well. But I also appreciate where the lads are coming from, where they mention about there's a lot of processes involved to get to that finished result. So I can see both arguments on that one. So Neil Taylor has commented. He says, we've done it for 20 years with 4 to 5 gangs working for us. Stressful and frustrating at times. Like it's already been mentioned in comments, most of the reliable and good spreads work for themselves, so it's hard to find the staff. Did you struggle finding staff when you were growing?
Yeah, you won't even believe, man, how hard it is. I mean, the first 5, like I said to you, was steady, and they were very finely selected, and they're all good people. Still now, them guys are all cool. But it got to the point where I was, you know, I had guys I didn't even know. I had guys that turned up pissed. I had guys that turned up smoking weed. I had guys that turned up in a car with 3 other people telling me they were a gang of plasterers. They had an onboard and trowel, 2 of them, and the rest of them were labour. I've seen everything, mate. I've seen everything, mate. And I think it is really hard, especially when you're quality driven and, you know, customer satisfaction's a big thing for you. I think it's really hard to get guys, but they're there. They are out there, though, mate. They are out there.
Yeah. Absolutely. And it's I feel a lot of it is the training as well. Like, we know there's a huge, you know, skill shortage. We know that young lads and girls ain't choosing to come into the game. And that's something that I'm trying to, you know, raise awareness of as well. And I know you feel strongly about that as well. But if you ain't getting that right training, and then you've got such low entry barriers into the game, it's going to attract all sorts. You're going to get a mixed bag of skill sets, aren't you? You know. Now, before you shoot, I know that you've got your little side hustle. Tees of the trade. Is that what it is? Tees of the trade.
Tees of the trade, mate. Yeah.
That's right. How do we get one of these T-shirts? Have you got a website?
No, it's not a website yet. So it's just basically an Etsy website. It's an Etsy shop. It's where like little boutiques and stuff go. So my missus is behind a lot of it. She knows about all this stuff apart from me. I just tell her the ideas and the designs and make sure it's on a good T-shirt. Because I don't really know rubbish tops out. Because I know we're robust, aren't we? We're working on site or we're doing whatever. They need to be strong. So I just do I'm like a bit of a lab rat on it. Quality checks and that. But yeah,
the model.
It's just cool. Yeah, I'm the model. I always wanted to be a model. So yeah, I wasn't going to make the runway, was I? I want thin enough or tall enough.
So do people, if they want one, to just message yourself, yeah?
Yeah, message me, or you can, just get in touch with me, or go whatever, and I'll send you the links through. But it's also on all my social medias, mate. I put links to all stuff I'm doing on there. You just go on, order it, and it gets to you next like 4 or 5 days. We'll have them sent to you. Yeah.
Fantastic. I'll tell you what we'll do, guys. For every T-shirt you buy off Joel, I'll throw in a beanie as well. I'll throw in a winter beanie, give him a little push on it as well. So, yeah. Listen, Joel, thanks again, buddy, for coming on. I really appreciate it. It's been fantastic. Yeah. And on behalf of myself and Trial Talk, big thumbs up to yourself. And can we get you back on again?
Yeah, of course, man. Anytime. We'll start doing a monthly if you want.
Yeah, I'll have my bags packed, mate. I told the missus I'm doing another live tonight. She's like, another one.
Good work, mate.
Listen, you take care, mate, and I'll catch you on the next one.
All right, then, bro. Take it easy, yeah.
All the best, mate. I'll see you later.
Thank you.